cannot answer all the letters. I've read them, all of them, these and many others, and they offer a variety of insights into the emotions and opinions Americans bring to television when it's about real people and their lives. The letters are roughly 8-2 in support of the broadcast. Many were like this one. I'm a 52-year-old black woman living in Los Angeles with my mother. We know what CBS brought out is true because we see it here where we live. Some of the letters are critical, and a few downright mean of spirit. Someone suggested I join the Ku Klux Klan and even send an application of membership. But most of the criticisms were thoughtful. Mostly they complained that the film stressed only the negative side of the black experience. They said we ignored all those working class or middle class black families who are coping, and the single women working to raise their children without welfare. Here's a woman who wrote to say, my story has a happy ending. When I was 17, I became pregnant. I had my baby and put her up for adoption, but couldn't go through with it. There were many, many difficult times, but I was raised to believe that whatever I did, right or wrong, I was to take responsibility for it. I went to trade school and became a lab technologist. I earned $27,000 last year. My daughter, believe it or not, is in her freshman year at college. She's a normal, well-adjusted, happy person. We could have done a documentary on women like this one. There are stable working class or middle class black families, and of course there are unstable white families. Families don't break up because they're white or black. Teenagers don't get pregnant because of their color, and fathers don't walk away from their children on account of race. We're talking about human beings and their problems. But if the unstable family is a significant problem among whites, it is catastrophic for blacks. If things don't change, one report warns, the turn of the century will see 70% of all black families headed by women and only 30% of black men employed. And even when black children live with both parents, says another report, they're likely to spend 4 times as much of their childhood in poverty as the average white child. These are the reasons we call the Vanishing Family a crisis in black America. Some people, including a few serious scholars, wrote to say we should have gone into the economic, social, and political forces which over time have created the deprivation of ghetto life. They wished we had talked about how chronic unemployment has deprived black men of their personal esteem and social role by denying them a chance to earn a decent living for families, how this has driven them out of the home and job market into personal oblivion or addiction, or into the street, which is the only economy around where they can earn money. That's a subject worthy of a documentary, all right, but there have been such broadcasts before. I've done some myself, and it seems by now a familiar story. Most adult Americans surely know what slavery, racism, and segregation have cost the black people of this country. I think we also know how, in our time, poor, rural, southern blacks were transformed into poor, urban, northern blacks, trapped in decaying central cities where good jobs were few and decent housing practically non-existent. It seemed more important, to this reporter at least, to look at the consequences. Children born into this social deprivation, where old kinships have been shattered, where the economy no longer exists, have almost no hope on their own of finding a toehold in mainstream culture, in the so-called opportunity society. They live in a predatory culture where drugs and crime are as routine a social pattern as college and summer jobs for middle-class kids. The surprising thing is that so many of the people trapped in this culture are as resilient, intact, and strong as they are. But any chance of upward mobility seems so remote or so futile to them, it's easy for children to do what comes naturally, to imitate what they see around them and repeat the cycle, generation to generation. How to break the cycle is the question now. Conservatives tend to look to changes in individual behavior, liberals to changes in the social system, in education, housing, jobs. I came away from working a year on this program certain that it's both. If individual behavior is to change, the social system has to change too. Most of us need incentives. The response to the Vanishing Family from all over America suggests to me a yearning in the country to address those questions beyond ideology and race. If so, we owe the moment to the people who took us into their hearts and lives and into their world. They trusted us to listen, and that's quite an act of faith in a society that often prefers comfortable lies to uncomfortable truths. For one of the people you met, it was the only and last chance she had to be heard. A few days after the broadcast aired, Alice Sondra Jackson, who had given birth to her 3rd child while we were present, died of a blow she suffered in a freak accident. She had told me she wanted something better out of life than she got. So did just about everyone I met. I'm Bill Moyers. Good night.
They're the beginning of the end.
Doing what to whom and why and where and when. What?
Simon and Simon resort to dirty tricks to save a friend's marriage.
How slimy can you guys get?
My father wasn't in the home, so, you know, it really, male figures not substantially important in the family.
Would you have had these kids if you'd thought about them in advance?
No.
All were an accident.
Yeah, you can say that.
Raise your hand if you're married. None of you are married.
This is the CBS documentary, The Vanishing Family, A Crisis in Black America. It first aired January 25th of this year, 2 months ago. The report is an unflinching look at trouble in black urban America. It is a controversial report. It has been admired, contested, hotly debated.
Little boy, I'm the king.
The Vanishing Family delivers a message that is plain-spoken and to the point. Within the inner city, black teenagers are trapped in a cycle of unwanted pregnancy and illegitimate birth, unemployment, and welfare. Many lead subsidized lives with subsidized children in subsidized housing. It is a portrait of despair. This morning, we present a special edition of Night Watch as this story continues to unfold. You have watched this broadcast of uncommon impact, and you have responded by the thousands. In this hour, we'll find out why, and we will hear more about what one black community had to say. A church in northwest Washington, D.C., a mile from the Capitol itself. It is Palm Sunday morning. There are 5,000 members of the Shiloh Baptist Church, affluent and middle class and poor, entrepreneurs and welfare mothers. The doors of Shiloh open wide.
We have come to the Shiloh Baptist Church to talk, primarily to listen, and to engage in conversation about Bill Moyers' documentary about the Vanishing Family. It is appropriate that we come to a Baptist church because in the community it is a place where values and family, the future, all those subjects are discussed. Yes, ma'am.
I resented at first the facts and the scenes and the conversations that I heard in the filming. And I think I even questioned the motives of CBS as to why had they come into our neighborhoods and talked with our families and our people, and what purposes could all of this serve? And then I began to answer my own questions. I saw that this is indeed the truth. This is a documentary. It's completely unrehearsed. And being the truth, it's like a mirror. And in a mirror, we see ourselves as well as we see others. And so I began to ask, where are we heading? Or where are we? And what can we do? And I think that that kind of analysis has certainly convinced me and about what needs to be done. I'm still angry, as I said in the beginning. I'm angry more at myself and others because of the things that I believe we might have been doing and haven't been doing. As members of schools, of churches, of fraternal organizations, as communities, as families, I think this truth tells us that we need to broaden our vision. We need to change direction or something. We're doing a very marvelous job, but we are not doing enough.
Yes, ma'am.
As a registered nurse in Washington, D.C., I have seen 11 and 12-year-old children bearing children. What I would like to see, I would like to see more of the blacks who are represented here at Shiloh Baptist Church, my church, become more involved with people who have not, by the grace of God, been as successful, been as fortunate as we are. We cannot depend upon the Senate, the Congress, people who are not a part of our lives to correct the problems that are affecting us. We must be responsible for ourselves. I would like to see the young mothers who are receiving welfare be required to, one, go to school, receive a trade, and take parenting classes so that they can learn not to repeat the same mistakes in their lives. We must reach out. The answer will come from us. It will not come from Capitol Hill. Black men, those of you who are successful, who by the grace of God have been given a chance to become educated, you must reach out and set an example to these young brothers that you saw today. They're not going to learn it from anyone but from you. And I just hope that somehow, instead of us being angry, that we will do some very deep soul searching, and most importantly, reach out to someone who is less fortunate than you. Because only by the grace of God, you are sitting here, and those folks that some of us snub our nose at are where they are.
I'm going to try to get to everyone. A lot of people want to talk, and we want to get to as many of you can. I'll ask you to make your points as concisely as you can. Yes, ma'am.